What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Gator Gang Network. I am your host, Bobby, and I am joined with my co hosts, Lucas and Daryl. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page as well as we get into all of this. First things first, Florida beats rival Florida State in the swamp 24-21.
And it could
This
have been.
game will go down is known as the Whiff at Griff, and we'll get into why. But that is something that Florida will have to laugh about, and another year of bragging rights. Because Florida, we own the state, and once again, we didn't get to give the ass whooping to Florida State last year, so we had to do it this year. And I wish it would have been a better game, but a win is a win, especially with how the season has gone. But Coach Daryl and I, we were at the game while he was coaching, and it was a very intense game, very chippy. Action before the game, action during the game, a lot to get into. But Lucas, I'm gonna start with you. How did you feel about going into the game with
Going
the
into
big
the game,
rivalry?
going into the game, I had no idea what to expect. I'll be honest with you. We could have come out flat as a pancake, or we could have. Thankfully, we did the latter, but could have, we could have said, you know what, our coach got fired, or we could have said our coach got fired, let's just mail it in. But they came together and played their asses off. So I'm proud of the guys.
They definitely did. And we're gonna get into this, and we're gonna let Coach retired Coach Daryl. How did you feel about coming into the game?
Yeah, I was really excited about the game. I was a little nervous. I mean, big rivalry in the swamp, guys. We didn't know what we were gonna be facing. Limited staff, but the guys really came together and could have been a lot better. But a win's a win over your rival, man. At the end of the year, if you can go and beat your rival, it doesn't matter what the rankings are. It doesn't matter what the wins and losses are. You can tell in that game that they were chippy. They were ready to play, and that's just how these games go. I mean, that's just what it is. And at the end of the day, the Gators came out with a win. So that's what's important. I think it's a good momentum push to the bowl game and a good push for next year. So
With the
you
new
know,
coach, I might add.
yeah, with a new coach. Yeah, so I'm retired. Billy Napier is now the coach. I'm going to let him take over the Gators, and I just I want him to be able to take over the reins. I don't want him to be overshadowed by my success at the University of Florida over the last week. So, congrats, Coach Billy. We're looking forward to you. If you need my help, you give me a call, man, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to enjoy my retirement right now. So it's been a long week being coach.
We thank you for your time here at Florida and your one game.
Thank you.
And like I said, should have got your autograph when I was there, but I
Hey, by the
definitely
way,
get that.
the interview you guys cut was the
Hopefully,
interview.
hopefully they'll be able to retain you on the staff in some way, form, or fashion.
Yeah, Billy can always give me a phone call. We'll talk some football. But right now, I'm going to become a fan again and just watch the Gators. So.
So as this game, went on, Florida goes into halftime, almost going into halftime, and Emory Jones has already thrown two picks in this game and throws a red zone interception in the end zone.
Right to the guy, I might add.
And it was not a good look. And going into halftime, I really was thinking, Anthony Richardson needs to come out in the second half and start the second half. I don't want to see Emory Jones attempt another pass in this game. And after halftime, Greg Knox brings Emory Jones out on first down, out on second down, and on that second down, he throws the ball and hits a player in the back of the head, gets pulled from the game. AR comes in on third down, converts to third down, and it was his game for the rest of the game. Daryl, how did you feel about the switch in quarterback from EJ5 to AR15?
First thing I'm going to say, EJ, I'm really glad that you're a Gator, and I'm really glad that you're giving the best that you can. But right now, EJ, we need to sit down and focus because we cannot throw interceptions, as many interceptions to wide open guys, and that has to be changed. So it's not dodging or beating up on a guy. I'm just saying this is where you got to work. You got to work on those reads. So work harder on that. I think you could be a great quarterback. The change had to happen. I really do think the change had to happen. He was able to come in. He didn't just go lights out, but he just added the extra factor and was able to get more,
I'll
more
be
success
honest.
there in the second.
I'll be honest. If Emery, I'll put it this way: if Emery stays in the game, I think we lose.
That's undetermined. I mean, Emery Jones he's a great player. We see his potential in the Sanford game. I know it was against Sanford, but a defense is a defense, and he played great then. It's just like Daryl said, it's late on the reads. He's got to get better on the reads and to know when to get that ball in there, and not wait so long. That's my biggest issue with Emory Jones, and then bringing AR-15 in the game. He only was only like five for seven, but he moved the ball well. He made some good reads. He had some good
Well,
rushes.
did you see the
Um,
catch? Did you see the catch? Did you see the ball he threw to Schroeder or Schroeder or whatever the heck his name is?
oh
Schroeder.
yeah, Justin Shorter. I mean, great some great passes. That I don't know if EJ would have made him. I know he's capable of making them too. And I support both quarterbacks, but when you're making decisions and throwing them to the guy, I mean, something's got to give. And I'm just glad the Gators came away in this game, and then we advanced a later in the game. It got this game was a lot really chippy. Before the game, action was going on. During the game, the ACC officials were officiating the game, and I didn't know that until after the game. But looking back at the game, I think
It
they
was bad. It
contained the
was bad.
well. I think they contained the game pretty well. There was one penalty on the offsetting penalties that where an FSU player actually threw a punch at Justin
Oh,
Shorter
okay. That's
and
one thing.
was
How can
not
you throw?
ejected from the game.
How? Okay, that's one thing I really wanted you to do. How in the pardon my language, but how in the hell can you throw a punch and not be ejected from a football game?
I
Well, the reason why he wasn't ejected was it was an offsetting penalty call, but and that was the ref's way of kind of controlling the game when they called some of these unsportsmanlike. A lot of the times it was both sides. So if that was a penalty that was just him, he probably would have been ejected. But because it was an offsetting penalty, he was allowed to stay in the football game.
yeah, I mean. A game that Florida really should have played, won by a lot more. Scott, you mentioned that in the comments that Florida would have won by like 28 points. I'm not going to say maybe 28 points, but we definitely look a lot better. Going in halftime, with an extra touchdown on the board right before half because Florida State got the ball to start the second half. So we kind of really needed that, but unfortunately we didn't get it. But this is another game that Florida comes out on top in the total yards margin, 357 to 348. So there's only been one team this year who outdone us in total yards, and that was South Carolina. So when you look at the Gator schedule and you say this team has five losses with or six losses with uh, only one team outdoing them, I would say that's kind of crazy. But that's just kind of the year it's been where if you haven't had the offensive problems, you've had the defensive problems or penalty problems or a mix of all three in one game.
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys want to get in the coach now, or should we wait?
Um, you know, Lucas, I'll let you, get into that because I know you're happy. You're happy to announce it.
Okay, guys, we have a new head football coach. His name is Billy Napier. He coached at Alabama as the wide receiver coach. Late Thursday night, I was hearing that this could happen. He served as the recruiting coordinator. He brought in guys such as Todd Floyd, Amari Cooper, Cameron Ridley, um, Jalen Waddle, and the the guy. If you look at where Louisiana was before he got there and where they are now, it's literally night and day. So I'm excited. I don't know about you guys, but
So I'll touch a little bit, more. I didn't really know the name Billy Napier. It came across as, I didn't know him. Um, I did do a lot of research on the guy, YouTube, press conferences, football games. And the more I started to dig, the more I started to like him. He is a very big recruiter. He's already recruiting and he's still coaching at another team and he's already visiting guys. He's already got the coaching staff doing more recruiting now than they've done in I don't even know. They're already out. They're already recruiting. Players across the country are tweeting. Players, there's a 4-star LSU quarterback congratulating Billy for the job, and he's even given some thoughts of taking a look at Florida. And that guy's been committed to LSU for 2 years.
I don't
Um,
think. I'll stop you right there. I don't think we take another quarterback when we already have one
No, I don't
committed.
think we will, but I'm just saying it's interesting that we're getting these guys that were not looking at Florida before. So if they have some interest, even if they don't come and take another quarterback, they could at least, hey, maybe you guys should go take a look. So it's just interesting that other guys are showing interest that maybe wasn't before to Florida. So no, I don't think we would take another one because we've got some good ones coming in. But it's just that's interesting to me because this guy's never, he's never had any interest at all. So he's very excited. You're seeing that in the social media world. Guys are very excited about this guy. And, you
And he's
know,
young too, so he can.
he's very young. He's got a big family. He's got a big family, which I like that. He turned down several big jobs. We talked about that. He's been very patient. I think he's just been waiting for the right opportunity, and hopefully this is really it. And I don't know. I don't know, and I don't think anybody really knows. Nobody can say whether it's a big name guy or not, whether they're going to come in and be successful. But I do feel like he will run. He will be able to be more of a CEO type coach, head coach, versus just an offensive coordinator or a
And
defensive coordinator. So he'll be able to control a little bit more depending on who he brings in, and so that's what I
and
like about Billy.
and sorry, Daryl, but he does. He's the head recruiter. He's the head recruiter. Granted, they do bring in guys to recruit. They do bring in position coaches to recruit, but Billy Napier is the head guy. So
Yeah,
It all comes down to the head man, and Billy Napier is the 28th head coach at the University of Florida. As Daryl alluded to, he's turned down several big SEC jobs. He was the only candidate that Scott Strickland met with. And Napier is a former quarterback for Furman. As Lucas said, he's coached under Dabo, he's coached under Saban. He was at Arizona State before getting the job at Louisiana. During his time at Louisiana, Napier's offense has averaged 31.9 points per game or more in all 4 years at Louisiana. And he's been at the top recruiting class in the last 3 years. And he's
and
second this
number two
year.
this year. Number two
So
this year.
he's doing really good in the recruiting trail. And as Daryl mentioned, when you throw in the fact that this man has not even officially been, had his press conference yet, and he's already on the recruiting trail, I mean that says a lot. And I understand recruiting isn't everything, but recruiting is a big part of it because it's a lot easier to do better with great than it is with just good. And that's the
I will say
difference
this.
between Dan Mullen and Billy Napier.
I will say this. Mullen did leave Billy Napier. He did not just leave the cover dry. There's some talent there.
There's definitely some talent there. And I gotta say, during these past couple games, Daryl and I, talked about it. We've seen some guys out there making big plays that really haven't gotten a shot, this year. So, I think with different eyes and maybe a different coach will bring out different potentials in the team. On the Twitter Spaces on last night. Listening to all that, former Gator players, current Gator players, talking about Billy Napier, and there's nothing but support there and gratitude. And let me be the first to say this: during this coaching search, we don't know how well Billy Napier is going to do. We want him to succeed. We want nothing but the best for him. But during this coaching search, who was the number one candidate out there? Billy Napier was the top candidate for many jobs. And I'll say this: our athletic director, Scott Strickland, landed the top recruit, the top, person to be head coach at the University of Florida.
That
So
says something.
if for some reason that God forbid that Billy Napier doesn't work out, I don't want to hear fire Strickland because he landed the top guy. Now nobody knows what he's gonna do. We know Billy Napier has some potential, but being the head coach at the University of Florida comes with a lot of weight, a lot of pressure, and a lot of scrutiny.
Just ask Steve Spurrier, who once said, "I guess 10 wins isn't good enough for you people." That should tell you. That should tell you how much pressure the fans
E-
put on.
Exactly. Go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, so you talked a lot about Billy's recruiting, and here is one thing that we have to really think about is talent wise. I think our first string guys can match up with anybody out there in college football with the Alabamas and Georgias. But where we are failing at is our second string, our third string guys. That's why Georgia and these
And,
Alabama teams are so successful. So that's why recruiting is important. It's not that you have to have 4 or 5 star guys all over the field, but you do have to build some depth. You have to be able to go in there and put your second guy in and have him just play just as good as the guy that just left the field. That's the difference between good recruiting and having top 12 classes. So it's got to be very, very important that we
the
build
guy,
depth on the first string and the second
the guy
string.
loves to recruit.
Yep.
He literally said that in press, his press, press, his press the other day or yesterday.
And I see that he loves to recruit, and I'm glad to see that enthusiasm from a young guy, and his team. Listening to his press conferences, watching the games, the team is very disciplined. And his quarterback, he can throw good. He can move on the run. I like the confidence that he instills in his quarterback. So I think when he comes to Florida, he's definitely going to give chances. I mean, one of the stats that I had gotten was that Billy Napier, he's big on taking chances. 33 fourth down conversions this year, which nationally ranks 12th, and he converts them at a rate of 63.6%. So 63% on 33 fourth down conversions. That's pretty good, considering you're at a team like Louisiana.
That's what,
So
that's almost as good as Les Miles.
exactly. So coming to Florida and having the talent, what we need to do is Florida State is down and out right now. Miami is struggling right now. So Billy Napier needs to come in here
I'll
and
put it this
and,
way:
and
we need
put
to build
a
a fence
border
around
around the state of Florida and keep the big uh, the big players and get them to come to Florida instead of going out of state to Georgia and Alabama and other teams.
I'll put it this way: we need to build a freaking fence around Florida.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got to build a wall around Florida, and we got to keep our big people, big recruits in the state of Florida, and getting them to come to UF.
100% agree. That's where we failed lately. In the University of Florida is a premier program, and the facilities starting next year are going to be phenomenal. There's no reason why we should be losing guys to Alabama and to Georgia and these other schools. They should be staying here in Florida, and vice versa. We should be going to Georgia and Alabama and taking these guys. We are in the Sunshine State, people. We got the most beautiful beaches in the world. So come to Florida.
And yeah, come to UF, come be a Gator. Because great things are coming. And we kind of want to talk about, what are our expectations for Billy Napier in his first year at UF. And I'll start by saying that I want to see a window between best case scenario a 10-2, worst case scenario 8-4. But I think it's kind of hard to give a prediction of what you think it's going to be when you don't exactly know who the defensive coordinator is going to be. But Billy Napier is already targeting Oklahoma State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles, who has the number 3 team defense in the country, and he's also taking a look at Houston's defensive coordinator Doug Belk, who has the number 6 team defense in the country. So, really good. Either hire right there would be elite.
I'll add something. And Doug Belk coached at Georgia under Kirby, so he can recruit.
Yeah, so, Doug Belker's got some ties to the SEC and knows what it's like to be in the SEC. So I think, that would be a great hire. I mean, we'll see who he brings in, what coaches he keeps. What he does with the players and how he does with recruiting in his first year. Because as of right now, Florida is 39th in national recruiting. So we'll see from now until early signing day into national signing day, how much ground he can make up.
That's another thing I wanted to get. I heard that the only 3 he's keeping were playing Yankee are Brewster, Crime Dog, who is Wesley McGriff, and Christian Robinson, C. Rob. Those were the only 3 I'm playing, and maybe Savage. That's it.
Yeah, so we could have some coaches retained, which is always a good thing because it gives the players someone they're familiar with, as a transition.
Yeah, I had my phone conversation with Billy, and I will not be retained on this coaching staff, but I do enjoy my retirement, and I'm going to be very supportive of him regardless. So I told him he could call me anytime, and I will give him my support.
So thank you, Daryl. We love how supportive you are of the transition, because I know ultimately you're not ready to step down, but you understand the process.
I do. It's important. He's much better recruiter than I am. So.
Yeah, exactly. He's got way more ties. But this game, this season has been, unreal. It's crazy to say that the regular season is over. I feel like the off season is forever, and the season goes by in the blink of an eye. I mean, here we are, at 12 games, and I'll say I did not expect at the beginning of the year. I'm thinking, 10-2, a New Year 6, a potential playoff bid. Best case scenario. But obviously, I know with losing players, but still the expectations were still pretty high, and it looked like early in the season, Game 3, we really hung in there with Bama, only losing by 2, having the chance to beat them. And then after that, the season kind of went downhill. And I never questioned, never thought I would have to question, will Florida be bowl eligible? Can we make a bowl game? And that is one thing that we can say that we did do is we advanced to a bowl game while FSU goes and they participate in the Couch Bowl.
Yeah, but
Guys, if you guys are wondering, I know I talked about this on my video last night, but the presser will be December 5th, the day after the Sun Belt Championship game. I'll try to dig and find out what time and everything.
Yes. Well, we would definitely let us know on what time that press conference is going to be. And Daryl, what time is the Louisiana conference game this weekend?
I'm gonna
it's
look it up.
2:30 my time, so it's 2:30.
3. Okay, so 3:30.
3:30 your guys' time, so it's the same time that the SEC championship game is going on. So I guess you use your judgment on that. But I actually Googled. It's at the Raging Cajun Stadium. So if you guys are in Louisiana, you guys are Gator fans. I'm sure that Coach Billy would love all the Gator support to come down to the Raging Cajuns. Very, very, very wonderful fan base. I've talked to him all week long. So supportive of him. They love him over there. So I mean, they really like this guy, and they're very supportive of him coming to Florida. So, and surprisingly, a lot of them Raging Cajun fans do not like LSU, so they are really happy he's going to Florida versus LSU. So, you would think it'd be the other way around, but they are very happy that he's coming to Florida. So, show up and support them if you're in the area. You can make that trip, man. It's like $30 to get into the Sun Belt Championship game. So, go over there if you can.
Yeah, support them. Because they're supporting him come to Florida. So I'm definitely going to be tuning in to the SEC championship game as well as their conference championship game. And seeing
By the way,
how Napier does.
They did win last week, guys. So they're undefeated or one loss. I don't know.
They got one loss to the University of Texas,
And that was the very first game of the season. So they're on an 11-game win streak. So
at Texas.
Yeah, so that's huge. But I'll bring this question up, Scott. You make a good question. Who do you want to play in a bowl game? I'd like either Miami or UCF. Me personally, I want Miami. I want the bigger of the Florida schools, so we can let Miami know that we also run the state. Florida State found that out.
I want UCF so we can shut their national championship asses up.
Well, yeah, I think that that even they knew they were bluffing, but they just
So
I mean, hell, they even have it on their fucking stadium.
you got a bowl game with Florida, 6-6 Florida, maybe 7-6 Miami, or Anyway, you're trying to sell tickets to this game. It's got to be one of them two schools. It's got to be one of them two schools. I don't want to play some other state. I want to play my in-state school and sell this out. We had an 11 o'clock game in the Swamp. It was sold out. It was packed. You're going to sell tickets? I hope the bowl people are listening, because if you're going to sell tickets, you got to make this happen. Miami or UCF.
Mm-hmm.
Make it happen, because that's what's going to sell you some tickets.
Exactly, and I know that was 4 years ago that UCF was doing really good and had their national championship celebration, but we haven't forgotten that they want Florida and that they're the best team in Florida. So like Lucas said, I'm okay with that being the bowl game too. We can put an end to that talk, but we already know there's no competition there anyway.
Hey, one thing we need.
By the way, the basketball team won again.
Well, basketball is looking really good.
One thing I want to talk about that we just haven't in the NCAA and college football. I hope somebody's listening, because right now you have got to change the helmet penalty. Okay, when a running quarterback is hit and he is going into the end zone, I'm okay, 100% supportive of stopping the play. If the player physically removed his helmet during this play, 15-yard penalty. If he is hit or tackled and that helmet comes off and he advances the ball because he's in the moment in a rivalry game in the swamp to score a touchdown, and you're going to give him a 15-yard penalty, bull crap. Change it. Somebody better be tweeting that out. They need to change that rule right now. That play should have just been blown dead, and we should have got the ball right there, and it should have been done.
I agree. I get player safety, and I get why the penalty, why that rule is enforced, but I don't like the repercussion of that
Like, what
rule
are you
of the
supposed to?
15-yard
What are you
penalty.
supposed to do? Just stop in the middle of the.
Exactly, Lucas. So you mean to tell me you're 4 yards from the end zone, your helmet gets snatched off, but you're not on the ground. The object is to get across that goal line. As long as you're not on that ground, that's what you try to do. So you cannot expect these players to just stop as soon as their helmet pops off and just be like, "Play's over with," because they're gonna want to try to advance the ball and get the touchdown.
The play should have been blown dead, and the ball should have been taken at the 3-yard line. But there should have not have been a 15-yard penalty on that.
Exactly. The penalty should not have been enforced, so I'll say this: Damian Pierce, you're a beast. That was absolute beast mode. I loved it. If it wasn't, I support the penalty because you did exactly what everybody else would have done. I mean, I don't agree with the penalty, but for him getting that penalty on him, I'm not even knocking him for that penalty because I would have done the same exact thing, and I think we all would have.
Well, like I said, what are you supposed to do to stop it? Oh, my helmet comes off. I have to stop now.
I mean, like Scott says, Pierce didn't even know his helmet was off until he was in the end zone. I mean, his adrenaline's pumping. I mean, he was not tackled. He was he was on a mission, and that's why I say he needed more touches, and he got more touches and made it count. But what I do like is that they put him in the game to get that touchdown.
Yes.
After the fact, so he
And
did
another-
get a reward for it.
Another thing I want to bring up about Damian Pierce, once the play happened, he didn't bitch at the referees. He just went to the sideline and didn't complain. And
No, I mean, Pierce kept fighting, and the Florida State kept tackling. So I mean, where's the penalty on the defense for tackling a player without his helmet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're gonna put it one way, there's two teams there. So I mean, if you're gonna have that penalty, and after the whistle's blown and a defender still tackles a player, shouldn't that be a penalty? Because you're tackling a defenseless player that his head is exposed.
Agreed. If it's going to be a penalty, it should be the other way around. The defender should be stopping.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can see it going both ways, but if you're going to give the penalty one way, offset him. I don't know. But like you said, Daryl, the rules got to be changed.
Got to be.
We can't be having that.
Somebody call me from the NCAA. I'll explain it to you in more detail.
Exactly. So before we get out of here, Lucas, is there anything you want to add to tonight's the Florida State game or the new hire of Billy Napier?
I just want to say welcome, Billy Napier, and I look forward to see what you do. And now go recruit your ass off and help bring a championship back to the swamp because we need it.
There we go.
Yeah, so Billy, congratulations. This is a big moment for you, man, and we're really excited for you here in Gainesville. You're coming from the swamp and you're going to the swamp, a little bit bigger. but a little bit bigger moment for you, man. We're all pulling for you. We're watching you. Bring in these recruits. Keep these kids in Florida, and go Gators. Bring a championship back to Florida. We're all pulling for you.
Exactly. They top it off, real good. But congratulations, Billy Napier, on the job at the University of Florida. Supportive of you. I know you're going to do great. Bring in great talent, and bring keep the players in Florida and bring them to UF. And you've come a long way, and you've worked hard to get to this moment. For you to turn down other jobs and wait for this opportunity and snatch it up. When it was given to you.
A week after
I
Game On was
salute
fired, by the
you,
way, so it didn't take very.
and I can't wait to see what you bring to the swamp. As Daryl said, coming from one swamp to another.
Yep. Go
Well,
Gators.
do you want to add something, Lucas?
Nope. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to watch the presser on Sunday.
Oh yes, wait on that press conference. Which I'll know before we get out of here. If you ain't a Gator,
Must be Gator bait.
there you go. You guys have a good night. Go Gators.